Hey, here's my opinion poll by me, Go Large. First slide. The data shows that large majorities of the Americans oppose banning books or restricting difficult conversations about slavery and racism. Yet some lawmakers continue to pass such restrictions. How do you reconcile this large disconnect between public opinion and policy? Well, when it comes to the banning of books and or restricting access regarding topics about slavery and or racism, I don't really think the government should be banning these specific topics, but more specifically books in general or knowledge, because that can get very dangerous very fast. And much of America views shares my views, due to the fact that not only these topics, while they may be sensitive, they contain valuable information when it comes to understanding not only the U.S.'s culture and beliefs based on like past historical events. Slavery, I know, crazy, totally doesn't affect the modern era at all. I would never see that happening. Or just in general, it can also show you how the world would affect different, like why they discriminate against some cultures, and like there's reasons for that. So that'll help you understand how the U.S. Views different races, but also how the entire world will view different races. However, these lawmakers still continue to pass these restrictions and bans on these books, which, in my mind, it shouldn't really be happening because, well, it's a democracy. We should kind of have a vote on this, which they do. However, they're not listening to the people. So, how do we fix this? In order to fix this, I suggest that when the lawmakers are going to pass a new law or legislation, the bill or law or legislation has to go through a vote of the American people that it's going to affect. So let's say Washington, they're going to ban like some books on slavery or Jim Crow, whatever. That's fine. Like the legislators will take a vote, and if it passes, yippee! Now the Americans have to vote on it. They've got to do like we'll say majority vote because I know how difficult it is going to be for anything to get passed if it's like a 75 or 60% vote. Because I mean, there's so much ignorance in the American population. No one really knows what they're talking about on either side. So we take a public vote on whatever legislation is going to be happening, along with the vote that the legislators are going to have. So that way, there's less of a disconnect than if we were just let the legislators go wild. Even though they are supposed to be representing our values and we're supposed to be voting them in, our options are kind of limited. You gotta pick the lesser of two evils in most cases, and that's not really something we should be having to deal with. Additionally, okay, here's the next slide of my one-part question because I kind of thought it'd be weird to put it all in one slide. I don't really think that I don't want to have a paragraph as a title. It doesn't really work, but whatever. Okay, 2. Thinking about your experience from your own community slash family slash friend group, can you give an example of where the loudest voice rather than the majority ended up shaping decisions? What impact did this have? I don't really have a lot of these. I'm kind of grasping at straws for this one. But whatever. Okay, one example I can think of is when the loudest voice ended up shaping the decision would be when my brother and we decided to go inner tubing. He brought some friends along, and me being the younger brother, I got to tag along because that's what we do. So we go down. We're going to go to the Columbia River for some inner tubing. We get down there. Everything's going pretty well. We get out on the boat. We start trying to pump up the inner tube, and we hear like a gas leak. Well, not a gas leak, but like an air leak from the inner tube. So we can't pump up the inner tube because, well, it's not going to hold anything. It's going to like deflate on you, and basically we can't go inner tube. So we get out there. We can't go inner tubing. So we're thinking, we could go home, or we could stay out here on the river, have some fun. So we decided to stay out on the river, have some fun. So that was good. The buddies suggested we go cliff jumping because there was like a little cliff right next to the Columbia River. Them and some friends used to go. It's a very popular cliff jumping spot, which sounds fun because, well, my brother and I have never gone. So we arrive at the cliff, and my brother and I were both nervous because it's a cliff. Why would we jump off it? What are we doing? So on and so forth. So we get there, and I was very hesitant at first. I didn't really want to be the first one to jump because, well, why would you? It's pretty stupid. So how was that win until they were like, what'd be funny is if the little brother jumped before the big brother. So, of course, I jumped first, which in hindsight I wish I didn't do because, like, I'd never been cliff jumping, and I didn't even know if this was safe, if there's rocks. What I'd say is peer pressure is great. It was a lot of fun cliff jumping. So we continued doing this like once or twice. My brother, he doesn't really want to cliff jump because, well, it's jumping off a cliff in water. It's kind of not for everyone. I can't really blame him, you know. So my dad, being like the responsible parent, is like, okay, let's go swimming instead. You know, let's kind of be done with this. This is dangerous. I'm outside my comfort zone. I don't exactly want to watch my kid, you know, kill himself. I mean, it wasn't like a huge, like 60-foot cliff, but it was like a decent cliff, you know. So we decided to go swimming, you know, which probably the right decision. I do wish we could have, you know, cliff jumped a little bit more. However, what impact did this have? It was the right decision, you know. Like it allowed my older brother to like feel more included and all that fun stuff because well he was out with his friends, and then just for him to be sitting on the sidelines, not wanting to cliff jump, you know, it was the right decision. But then it kind of just led to everyone else being really bored. Kind of ended the trip a little bit early. So I mean, other than that, I thought it was fun, you know. So that was one thing. Yeah, it was the right decision, but you know, the loudest voice was my dad. The majority was the my brother's buddies and I. We were having a good time. So that being said, here's my what is it? Script. Yeah, script. So slide one, slide two, because I kind of don't want to put them on the same thing. So the first one, that's the second one. I mean that should be it. I don't really know ideas in slides other than that. So perfect.